Alright, what is up guys? Brian here, and this is my GFW Slammiversary review and thoughts on this show. So let's get right into it. They had a match on the pre-show. It was KM, Laurel Van Ness, and Congo Kong losing to Braxton Sutter, Ali, and Mahabali Shira. This was actually a pretty good match on the pre-show. So that's my thoughts on that match. The main show itself, we started off with the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the GFW and Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships. It was LAX defending against Marufuji and Ishimori, Drago and El Hijo de Fantasma, and Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid. This was a very exciting Fatal 4-Way Tag match, in my opinion. Of course, LAX having that numbers advantage with Diamante, Conan, and Homicide on the outside. That is what helped them win. I believe Santana and Ortiz are the two members of LAX that currently hold those titles. They picked up the victory in this match and retained their GFW and Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships. We had the in-ring debut of NFL running back D'Angelo Williams. He teamed up with Impact Grand Champion Moose to take on Eli Drake and Chris Adonis. This matchup, especially D'Angelo Williams, was very impressive. D'Angelo really surprised a lot of people. Very impressive in this match. The announcers or the commentators that were at ringside, Don West and Robert Flores, they were actually making fun of former WCW guys, celebrities that were in WCW, like Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone, and Jay Leno. They actually said that D'Angelo Williams was way better in the ring than those three combined. Moose and D'Angelo Williams did pick up the win in this one. Afterwards, Moose would powerbomb Eli Drake. Sorry about that. Would powerbomb Eli Drake through a table that was brought in during the match, and that is what kind of helped D'Angelo and Moose score the win, because D'Angelo hit a splash, or a kind of a version of a splash, onto Chris Adonis, who was laying on the table, but the table didn't break, and then pinned him 1-2-3. So a big congratulations to D'Angelo Williams and Impact Grand Champion Moose on picking up the victory at Slammiversary. We had EC3 and James Storm in a strap match. This one was a very good match. The strap being used, at one point EC3 would wind up handcuffed in the corner, and James Storm would use the strap to whip him, just like EC3 did a couple of months ago on Impact. The ending, however, James Storm would wind up going face first into the ring post, and that caused him to lose, because they would end up back in the ring, and James Storm would hit the last call super kick. He would go to try to hit, he would looking like he was going to hit another one, but then he would collapse, and EC3 would then pick him up, hit him with a version of the Angel's Wings like Christopher Daniels, and then would pin him 1-2-3. They then would have to basically walked James Storm out of the arena. We saw the tag team match with Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner as they took on Jeremy Borash and Joseph Park. And you want to talk about one funny match that hopefully is the end of this feud between Matthews and Borash. This was actually a very funny, entertaining match. It would start out in the ring. It was announced earlier in the night. Joseph Park revealed to Jeremy that it would be a no disqualification match. It would start in the ring. Then Scott Steiner and Josh Matthews would chase Joseph and Jeremy out of the arena. They would chase them in a golf cart. They would chase them in a van. They would then Jeremy would go one way, Joseph would go the other way. Scott Steiner would chase after Joseph Park. Josh Matthews would chase after Jeremy Borash. Borash and Matthews, they would battle into a pool area, and then they would end up in the pool. Shark Boy would make an appearance to try to help Jeremy escape. Scott Steiner would throw Joseph Park through a wall. We would then see an appearance by Father James Mitchell, who handed the Abyss mask, and he told Joseph Park it's time to rise, Abyss. Basically, it would end up back at the arena with Scott Steiner, Josh Matthews, double teaming Jeremy Borash in the ring. Shark Boy would come out to try to save Jeremy. He would get taken out by Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner would then apply the Steiner recliner to Jeremy. Abyss would come, or Abyss's music would hit. Father James Mitchell would appear on the ramp in the entranceway, and behind Josh and Scott Steiner, Abyss would appear. He would take both of them out. Mitchell would get on the apron and hand Abyss the bag of thumbtacks, small bag of thumbtacks. Abyss would lay the thumbtacks out. Josh Matthews would wind up getting Black Hole slammed into the thumbtacks, and then Jeremy Borash would pick up the win after hitting a splash onto Josh Matthews. 1, 2, 3, and Jeremy Borash and Abyss won this no disqualification tag team match. Like I said, it was a very funny match. I'm glad that they did a stipulation matchup for this one, or a gimmick match as some people would call it. And hopefully this puts an end to this feud, but we'll have to wait and see. We would see a Full Metal Mayhem mixed tag match involving Davey Richards and Angelina Love taking on Eddie and Alicia Edwards. This one has been personal for the last few months. And my hat's off to not only Davey and Eddie, but Angelina and Alicia as well, because, Davey and Eddie, they went at it. So did, and Alicia and Angelina, they weren't afraid to get in, go at it and use the weapons as well. Kendo sticks were used, trash can lids, a ladder, tables. At one point, Angelina brought in a cup of thumbtacks and had Davey hold Eddie's mouth open, and she would wound up pouring the thumbtacks down Eddie's throat. The ending came with Eddie and Davey on top of the ladder. Angelina Love would go after Eddie Edwards. Alicia would grab Angelina and powerbomb her through one of the tables, and then Eddie Edwards would wind up hitting a sunset flip powerbomb through another table that was set up on the other side of the ladder, and then would pin Davey Richards. So Eddie Edwards and his wife Alicia Edwards, they scored the win at Slammiversary in this Full Metal Mayhem. Like I said, hats off to all four of them for putting on a tremendous matchup. We had the X Division title on the line in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It was the champion Sanjay Dutt defending against Low Ki. This was also a very good matchup. Low Ki picked up the first fall with the Warrior's Way. Then Sanjay Dutt would pick up the second fall, and then the third fall, Sanjay Dutt would win after hitting a moonsault version of the Warrior's Way, where he would hit look like he was going for a moonsault, but would hit the Warrior's Way double stomp on low key. Congratulations to Sanjay Dutt on retaining the X Division title. We had the first of two unification title matches. It was Sienna, the GFW Women's Champion, versus Rosemary, the Impact Knockouts Champion. This was a great matchup between these two. Laurel Van Ness would try to get involved at the beginning, and then she would get involved again at the pulling the referee out as Rosemary was going for a pin. Earl Hebner would send her away, but would not see Sienna use the championship belt. Rosemary would kick out of that title, belt shot, but then would try to use the mist on Sienna, but Sienna would block it and basically cover Rosemary's mouth with her hand. Some of the mist would get onto Sienna's hand, and as Rosemary was picking her up for the Red Wedding, Sienna would use that hand and would put it over Rosemary's eyes and blind her, and then would roll her up and lock in a guillotine to make Rosemary tap out. So Sienna is the new unified Women's and Knockouts Champion. So a big congratulations to Sienna for that big victory. And then of course was the main event. It was Lashley, the Impact Wrestling World Champion, taking on the GFW Global Champion Alberto El Patron. Championship unification matchup for this one. Alberto had his father, legendary Dos Caras. Lashley would have had King Mo in his corner, and the Dos Caras and King Mo, they would, King Mo more than Dos Caras would get involved, would try to get involved to help Lashley win, but Dos Caras would stop him every which way anytime he would try to get involved. This was a great matchup between these two, between Lashley and Patron. Great title unification match. Like I said, I was thinking we have to wait till next Sunday to see how Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar do, because this one was actually very good between Patron and Lashley. A lot of hard-hitting action. Lashley threw everything at Alberto. Alberto hit everything at Lashley. Lashley would wind up going after Alberto's father near the end of the match, and that was enough of a distraction for Lashley or Alberto to hit a kick to Lashley, who was on the apron. Lashley would wind up going through the middle rope, and Alberto would hit the double stomp onto Lashley and then cover him 1, 2, 3 to become the new unified champion. In what was a great main event to end Slammiversary. My thoughts on Slammiversary as far as a card is concerned, I thought it was a tremendous show. Had my doubts, but Slammiversary was really tremendous. I would recommend checking for anybody to check it out to judge for themselves. That's just my opinion. I thought it was a tremendous show. So with that being said, if you guys watched Slammiversary tonight, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. I cannot wait to see what happens Thursday on Impact. This has been my recap on what took place tonight at Slammiversary. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.